Watch this before getting the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. Today, I'm going to give my honest review on the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. We're going to talk about some of the pros that I love about this machine and some of the cons that I think are worth knowing when compared to other competitor 3D printers. By the way, my name's Chris, and this is my 3D printing sanctuary. If you like 3D printing, then chances are you're gonna love this channel. So the Elegoo Centauri Carbon is only $299. When compared to other 3D printers, this is one of the best budget-friendly beginner 3D printers on the planet because this, the A1, one of its biggest competitors, is actually $350 without the multicolor system. So $350 versus $300 or $299, but you don't get an enclosure with this, but you get an enclosure with the Centauri Carbon. And yes, I know this machine is more commonly compared to the Bambu Lab P1S, but here's the thing, the Bambu Lab P1S is actually $500 or $550. And again, guys, some of the prices of these machines fluctuate, so please don't hold me accountable. So yes, the price point is definitely here, and this almost seems like too cheap in comparison to a lot of the other 3D printers. Okay, so the price point is a huge pro, but what is the biggest con with the Elegoo Centauri Carbon? The fact that it is only single color 3D printing. But that being said, the competitors in the same price range, like the A1, is also only single color 3D printing. That being said though, this machine has the capability of doing multicolor 3D printing, whereas this machine doesn't yet. Elegoo, it is said that it's coming soon, but that's a big question mark. I think another huge con to the Elegoo Centauri Carbon is that it doesn't have the same ecosystem that comes with the Bambu Lab 3D printers. I can directly 3D print from my phone, the phone app, Bambu Handy, directly from the phone to the 3D printer. And the ecosystem is just amazing. You know, there's no connectivity issues. Not that I've had any connectivity issues with this at all, but I think it's worth noting that it doesn't come with the same ecosystem. It just hasn't been around as long. So who is this 3D printer for? I think it's for people that don't really care that much about multicolor 3D printing and want a cheap, super reliable 3D printer. Because this printer is enclosed, we can print a lot of materials otherwise that you wouldn't be able to on a non-enclosed 3D printer. Not only that, but this thing is just tried and true, and it does its job all day long. Like if you have a print farm and you're printing just like structural parts, this machine is a no-brainer all day long. Or maybe you're just trying to get into 3D printing for as cheap as possible, because multicolor is really cool. You can do a lot of cool artwork like this and stuff and just multicolor 3D prints, but you also have to remember you can just simply paint things. Like a lot of people forget this, but you can actually just paint 3D prints. Check out these Pokemon over here. We have a ton of fun just going and painting the 3D prints. I will also state that multicolor 3D printing is extremely wasteful. You're gonna have a lot of waste. If that's not really your thing, single color 3D printing, this is it. And a lot of people ask me, how is this 3D printed? How is the quality compared to some of the other 3D printers on the market? And I gotta say, it's right up there, man. I've been running this printer like non-stop with just basic single color prints, you know, like functional items. And if that's your type of thing, this is definitely the 3D printer for you. I've had zero like bed adhesion issues and everything just works. Like it's really cool to actually see some competitors 3D printing at a high level like this. So props to you, Elegoo, and you made it extremely cheap. And you might be wondering about the bed size on the Centauri Carbon. This is the build plate size right here. It comes with a build plate that one side is textured and the other side is smooth, so that's a really cool feature. And the sizing of this thing is 256 by 256 by 256. And if you compare it to a lot of the competitors here, here's the Bambu Lab A1, so that's pretty much the same size. Here's the AD5X, it's larger than that. As far as the quality of the build plate goes, we've had zero issues with 3D print sticking or the adhesion. If anything, I have issues with the filament sticking too good to it. You know, especially filaments like PETG and stuff like that, they stick so well. And you might be wondering about all this crazy madness over here. So if you guys follow the channel, we've been doing all types of different tutorials, how to make keychains, how to 3D print logos, how to 3D print photos, how to make custom coasters. I put the names on these ones. These are a gift. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you love this type of stuff. This 3D printer kind of reminds me of like a work truck. This is like the work truck of 3D printers. You're not paying for all the bells and whistles and fancy heated seats and all that such. What you're actually paying for is function. This thing is function and you don't have to overpay for it. So if I were to be completely honest and complain about some things that I'm not super excited about, first of all, I gotta say that the camera is kind of crappy, but that's really common with all of these 3D printers, right? But it's better than like the P1S's camera. I will say that the lighting was really lackluster. Like when you turn on the light, you can barely even tell it's on. But what I did was just bought a 12-inch ring light and I just set it on top of here and it's just USB powered and it lights it up really well. It kind of sucks that this glass is tinted as well. I'm not really sure why they did that. I think it just kind of looks cool, but you know, a lot of people I think like to walk by it and look at the 3D print process, the model's process. Another thing, this 3D printer is pretty loud, like in comparison to the A1. I know I gotta quit comparing it to these 3D printers, the Bamboos, but that's kind of like what everything is being compared to because they're just so high on the food chain with their product that a lot of the other competitors are kind of playing catch up like low key. But man, it's a little loud, but you have to expect that with enclosed 3D printers. The P1S, its competitor, is also pretty dang loud. And also the 85, the Creality, I have all these printers, but that's what you get with an enclosed printer because it's using fans in here to control the temperature. But I honestly feel this is the best 3D printer for your money right now. So like if you're looking for a budget, single color printing, if you're cool with that, and you're looking for function, this thing works all day long. I think it's also worth noting that Elegoo Centauri Carbon isn't into such an ecosystem. So like before, I talked about how good the ecosystem was with Bambu Lab printers, but a lot of people and 3D print enthusiasts are complaining about how tied they are to it. Whereas something like these printers are more wide open source, you can do a lot more with them. And there's just people are liking this. The enthusiasts really like this. It's also worth noting that something like the Bambu Lab A1 doesn't come with an enclosure, whereas the Centauri Carbon does. So you're going to be able to print materials that need temperature controlled, like ASA, nylon, etc. So if you really like messing with kind of cooler materials like that, this is a better option. Watch this before getting the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. This was my honest review on the Centauri Carbon. I talked about what I like about this 3D printer and some things that I don't like. Honestly, guys, this thing is a cheap, budget-friendly 3D printer that's a workhorse. I really like my comparison of this being the work truck of vehicles. If you're not looking to overpay and you're just looking for something that gets the job done, it doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles, but still like looks really cool in my opinion. I think a lot of us get 3D printers in the idea of 3D printing things to sell, and I think this is for those people. Especially if you're mainly into 3D printing things that are mainly for function. And if you're looking to purchase one of these awesome 3D printers, I'll throw a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, but you are helping me out. I do have to feed my family after all. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you're really thinking on this 3D printer and like where you stand. I love hearing back from you guys, and please consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one.